Hello, I am Nobody Knows, or you can call me Nobody for short. And I've been looking back on the movies, shows, animes, and mangas that I watched and read when I was a kid. Remembering the hours in front of a TV watching Kids Next Door, Toonami, SpongeBob, Teen Titans, and Ed, and Eddie. Reminiscing of the days when my brother and I would buy VHS tapes out of the back of a stranger's trunk. VHS tapes like Tenchi Forever, Rugrats in Paradise, and The Three Evil Masters, then going home and then watching those VHS tapes over and over again, or spending hours and hours on anime sites like AnimeFreak.tv or Kiss Anime, watching hours and hours of animes like Rama, Bleach, Desert Punk, Buso Ranking, Air Gears, D&H Angels, Heroic Age, Needless, etc., etc., etc. It's amazing to me how much these shows stuck with me and kind of shaped me over the years. I still find myself talking about these scenes or these concepts from shows with my friends all the time. Even though some of the media that I watched when I was younger was probably a little bit intense. For me as a kid, but there is one anime in particular that seems to have been on my mind lately. One that I think I can definitely say shaped me as a person. And the opening still gives me goosebumps to this day. That guitar and drums. The show is Trigun. And as a young person, Vash made me realize that being a good person really sucks. I feel like this video would be cool to make with the incoming release of Trigun Stampede happening this winter 2023 season. I personally hope that series can mix in some of the stuff from the original Trigun that I found so enjoyable and extend into the stuff that happens in the manga, like the Trigun Maximum series. But I don't know, I am still looking forward to it, and I believe making this video would be a cool thing because it was about to be released. The series will probably be out by the time that I'm done editing this video. Just to be clear, this video will be about the 1998 Trigun animated series and its follow-up, Trigun Badlands Rumble, which I think was released in 2010. Also, this video will be solely on the anime. I've not read the manga or the Trigun Maximum sequel. I know I'm a crappy fan, but I think the anime is still good standalone. This is not really a review of the Trigun anime. I just kind of want to focus on the main character, Vash Stampede, or better known as the Humanoid Typhoon, or aka
Valentinez Alcalinella Zihak Shushiraboheretz. Gambi Govella, Blue Stradivari, Talentrent Pierre, Andre Tartenhemon, Ivanovinci Baldos George, Deutzel Kaiser III. Don't hesitate to call.
I'm going to do a brief overview of the series and then I'm going to go into my points. But just in general, spoilers ahead. Trigun is a shonen action sci-fi anime that takes place in a Wild West dystopian desert wasteland planet, animated by the amazing studio Madhouse that every anime fan knows because of their huge collection of work under their belt, and produced by Victor Entertainment Anime, which seems to fund other popular animes like Welcome to the NHK and Samurai Champloo. The original creator of Trigun is Yashiro Naito. I probably just butchered that. Here's a pronunciation that's probably more correct.
Yasuhiro Naitao.
He is also the creator of Kekai Sensen and Gungrave. The Trigun manga ran from 1995 to 1997 in the monthly Shonen Captain. So for anyone that hasn't read or watched Trigun, I'm going to run down a quick synopsis of the series, just to give people an idea what's going on here. Trigun is about Vash Stampede, the man with a $60 billion bounty on his head, dead or alive. The reason? He's a merciless villain who lays waste to all those that oppose him and flatten entire cities for fun, garnishing him the title of the humanoid typhoon. He leaves a trace of death and destruction wherever he goes, and in actuality, Vash is a huge softie who claims to never taken a life and avoids violence at all costs. With his crazy donut obsession, buffoonish attitude, Vash races the wasteland of planet Gunsmoke, all the while being followed by two insurance girl, Meryl Strife and Millie Thompson, who attempts to minimize the impact on the public, but soon their misadventures evolve into a life or death situation as the group of legendary assassins are summoned to bring about suffering to the trio. Vash's agonizing past will be unraveled and his mortality and principles pushed to the breaking point. That's a small synopsis of Trigun. I think the first thing that I need to point out is Trigun's world feels alive to me. Maybe it's because of its episodic nature, going through town to small town, and just having a small scale in general, at least at the beginning of the story. It feels like time will pass whether someone's watching or not, or the characters were there or not. Heck, as the audience member, you feel like you come into the situation late, and just hearing stories about the person that is your main character. The characters are weirdly relatable people that don't have all the details and not confident on exactly how to approach situations correctly. Even though it feels silly at times, the stories tend to be a bunch of people just trying to live their life and having understandable reasonings for the way they live their lives. Some are just doing their job, some are just trying to live in the desert, some are trying to find some solace or enact some sort of revenge, and people are just trying to keep a hold of the small things they have, and others are trying to keep a hold of the riches they have. I think this helps makes Vash following his moral compass feel like a real choice. There are many situations that Vash comes upon where he can be completely apathetic about the whole situation that surrounds him. And you can make the argument that he should have been apathetic to some of these situations. But it still feels like if he was or was not, the war would still move on. It might have not been the most happiest ending, but it would go down those routes. And it wouldn't feel like everything would be destroyed, especially when we're talking about the beginning of the series. The world of Trigun would still work and move on. So when Vash decides to engage with the world, it feels genuine to me. Vash really wants and believes that the world of love and peace can exist, and he also believes that humans can usher in that world. And so when he tries to intervene and convince people of these values, they feel so real. From my perspective, it feels so huge because in situations there's a junction where one can become involved or not. The decision to get involved can be hard and the most dangerous step. And the reasoning for choosing the latter is very reasonable. Doing good or the right thing can take effort, can be dangerous. There's probably nothing in it for you in the end. There's the tons of unknowns that you will not know going into the situation, and you maybe never even know about. On top of all that, there's a chance that you hurt someone else by doing something. No matter how you slice it, this will be a part of the initial choices people will debate when they follow their moral compass or doing the right thing. The first is usually, is this wrong? And then the second is normally, should I get involved? I feel like this is a very difficult choice. And I've personally chosen not to get involved many times in my life so far. Some were wise, some were not. But for sure, those opportunities to do the right thing will continue to happen. And I hope I do the right things as much as possible or reasonable for me. This reminds me of a quote from the end of the first episode.
That's the one. The man with $60 billion double dollars on his head. They say he showed up in Felnar. Didn't you hear about it?
No, so what happened?
Funny thing is, they say nobody died.
You mean like you don't need God for a miracle?
Maybe there just needs to be some action for more miracles to happen. Vash is not human. He is an interdimensional alien plant angel thingy, but he feels like a regular guy for the most part. Well, regular is probably the wrong way to say it. He pretends to be an idiot to hide the fact that in single combat, he can probably best almost anyone on this desert planet without killing them. This comes at a serious cost though. Just look at Vash's body. This type of persistence of not killing people has cost him greatly, easily. You can even say that it's cost others. People die despite Vash's best efforts, and it is normally because someone was looking for him. On top of that, his tendency to trust others and believe in others puts him in danger many times in the series. All that to say, the man that can put a hole on the moon can't be everywhere at once and can bleed, and does often throughout the series. The reason why the guy is so touchable is because of his adherence to his morals. Contrast this with a character like Kirito from Sword Art Online, which seems to be always incredibly strong to me. He does not really feel vulnerable to me at all. Even when he's in a coma, the guy is still blocking invisible daggers. It doesn't really feel that Kirito is at any risk when he enters a battle. Or rather, I have trouble believing that someone with that power can lose to anyone, because they are kind of set up to be unbeatable. It does not feel like not letting people die and not killing people is a huge burden for Kirito. And I know he doesn't have the same hangups as Vash, but I still think that his kill count is rather low because of his choices in the series. To me, it never feels that Kirito loses because he's weaker than an opponent. They are normally literally breaking the rules of the world. It seems like the only characters that give Kirito any challenge at all has the power of cheat codes on their side. Even the guy that made the game and has all the cheat codes couldn't beat Kirito because Kirito is just that strong and sprinkling the power of friendship.
Isn't this only true because Vash doesn't kill?
But this is a pivotal part of Vash's character. The burden to try to save everyone makes this a weakness. I think this weakness is just such a pivotal part of Vash's character that everyone in the series exploits all the time.
We're nothing like God. Not only do we have limited powers, we sometimes are driven to become the devil himself.
Vash seems like a guy that does not have it all together, but tries to do the right thing anyway. I think this is why Trigun doesn't come off as a crazy power fantasy to me. It's about a guy trying his best and failing sometimes. I think Trigun presented me with the idea that things are not just always black and white at an early age. The situations that Vash goes through in the series are fairly low level. It is normally single times with their own set of problems. And more often than not, Vash being there just exacerbates the problems and tensions of the town.
Tarnation! First the war dries up, then that dang criminal, the humanoid typhoon, shows up. This town ain't fit to live in no more.
Yeah, Vash the Stampede, the new hired gun at
Oh,
Caesar's
shucks, this
mansion.
town is finished.
Bad times are here, la 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 la.
I feel it's kind of funny how a few characters politely ask Vash to die to make everything easier on everyone else. And that happens a couple times in the series early on.
I'm telling you, you have to die. It would sure make us all happy if you do.
I'm very sorry.
Huh? I really hate to do this, son, but you are Mr. Vash the Stampede, aren't you? I am sorry. Please die without a fuss, okay?
And then on top of that, there's normally a personal story entangled in all this. I think some of the situations that Trigun presents are genuinely difficult. Situations that you can't just punch a bad guy in the face and things will be over. And Vash normally is in the dead center of all these situations and forced to make a choice. Like, which one do you choose? The life of a whole town of innocent people or the life of one person? What if the life of one person is your own?
The people, the land, everything went wrong after the plant malfunctioned.
But not everyone is rich enough to leave this damned city.
We need money to call the engineers to fix the plant. Unless it's repaired, the city is finished, along with everyone in it.
Only one person has to die to save the city. So please, Mr. Vash, give yourself up.
Would you choose your pride over people's lives?
If you had to choose between your life and your pride, what do you think you'd do?
I don't know, but I would never strip butt naked and bark like a dog.
Talent like that comes easy for a wimp.
How do you stop a personal grudge?
This bastard killed her. He killed my daughter, and he's gonna die. That was my daughter. My daughter.
This is horrible. Dear God, not again. I know she's related to the freeze, but she had nothing to do
with it.
What do you tell the kid that caused death to innocent people?
Betrayed, and they have betrayed, and we all let a lot of innocent people die. It's too late for us to go back now, and they're too damn clean.
Do you support a system that does terrible things but is the lifeblood of your town?
But their cargo wasn't always in boxes.
Now, come here. We bought you human rights. We own you. You have no choice.
They killed me. Mother!
How do you convince someone that helping is not pointless?
They say it's wrong to discriminate, right? You help someone, and then someone else suffers.
What do you say to a person that's a victim of an accident that you caused?
I don't know what kind of witchcraft you used. The city was so badly destroyed, and yet no one was killed. But do you know what happened after? 1,400,000 people became homeless and destitute. Their bodies and souls parched to the bone. They abused each other, stole from each other, and despised one another. That's right. Because of you, I was thrown into hell, but I still had to go on living.
What do you say to a person that's a victim of your good intentions?
Listen up! You might think it's cute going around saving people's lives in your lighthearted, righteous way, but have you ever thought about it? When you save someone like Gasback, he just goes out there and kills more people. People who wouldn't have had to die, who wouldn't have had to suffer. People like my mother!
In the show, it's pretty obvious that Vash does not have all the answers for these questions. Some of the answers that Vash gives are really good in my opinion, but he meets a lot of the questions in silence. Well, silence is not the right word. It's more like speechlessness, or he pleads for the other person to do the right thing.
Don't take this man's life! Don't kill him, please! Please don't shoot him! Don't do it! I'm begging you!
The situations in Triguns are tough, and Vash does not have the magic words to make everyone feel better, making a lot of the situations in the series come down to luck and hope for Vash. The other characters in Trigun have a ton of power on how things shake out, and it tends to work out for the most part in the series, but it sometimes just feels like Vash got lucky. I said earlier that a pivotal part of Vash's character is weakness. I think another word you could put there is pain. Vash fails at his goals throughout the series, and it weighs on him.
You had me kind of worried. I noticed that you always smile and seem really friendly, but the way you smiled was so empty it hurt to watch you. You're hurting like crazy on the inside, yet you grin and bear it.
It feels like half the time Vash is just putting on a strong face and really just dwelling on the pain and the mistakes he's done in his life. Vash just holds everything in, just put on a nice smile while walking through terrible situations, feeling terrible. This seems really relatable to me. Feeling bad when you hold yourself to a certain standard and fail at it, then you spend half the time thinking about what you could have done different. This weight is so heavy on Vash that he gives up in one episode and just settles for a peaceful life. It's a peaceful life where he enforces and follows his ideals, but it's definitely not the main quest stuff that has developed in the series at this point.
Yeah, nobody, but isn't that just a filler episode?
No, I don't think so. There's a subtle thing throughout the anime where it asks is, what should you do when you've done a bad thing or you've made a big mistake? And it seems like the series' answer is to start over and do better next time.
What's wrong?
I failed. I failed to save someone again.
Man is born a mortal being and we all make mistakes. It's part of the game. Just be more careful the next time.
It's hard for me to accept making mistakes like this.
Then, you can choose to suffer. That's also a part of the experience of mortal life.
Then you should start over.
What?
The ticket to the future is always open.
I think this episode really highlights that. Vash made a really big mistake, and it's time for him to start over. There's still stuff that he should do. Dwelling on the mistake doesn't necessarily help the situation. Well, I don't think dwelling's the right word. Beating himself up for the mistake is not the answer to move forward. After some external convincing, Vash leaves the town to deal with knives. But I think this kind of highlights the good and bad of an old saying. The saying is, the only thing necessary for evil to triumph in the world is for good men to do nothing. Emmanuel Burke. I think the statement is true. A lot of horrible stuff is built on the backs of the masses' apathy, and it just takes good people to stop those stuff from happening. The one thing that I think the quote doesn't capture, though, is good things do not come easy, and a lot of people that do those good things will suffer for doing those good things. I think this is why it's so easy to pass the buck. Why be a good person in a situation when that person can let some other good person handle the situation and the original person doesn't have to suffer? You may have noticed me put good or the right things in quotes throughout this video. And the reason for that is I think a person can argue that Vash is wrong. It seems like Vash is just casting a whole bunch of dice and hoping things will come up lucky. If you think the way Vash thinks is wrong, I think you have a lot of solid points. Trigun takes place in a desert planet, which is basically all a Wild West. There are people in the Trigun world that are insanely strong in a lot of measurements. People that can cut buildings in half, and giants that are made out of flesh and steel. Or just people that are at the peak of their skill and not afraid to kill people. In this Wild West, do you think a Joe can hold these people? How do you stop the living tank from walking out of your prison? Would they actually be able to be in prison? What's stopping them from breaking out and killing more people? You kind of see this in Badlands when Vash is dealing with people that have broken out of prisons to do some type of revenge, and he's trying to stop and save everyone at the same time. He's trying to stop it and save everyone at the same time. Even the characters throughout the series make solid points against Vash. I think at the very least, Vash kind of lives on this double standard. He's willing to save everyone else, but not willing to take care of himself at all.
He's telling me not to kill anyone, but it's okay for him to die? Nothing about that's right.
Literally putting himself on death's door when he believes no one should die. I like how Vash is a figure that is questioned throughout the whole series. Not everyone totally buys into what he's selling, and ultimately it's character's choice to buy in at all.
That would have been you lying there.
But you're wrong. He wasn't going to shoot me.
I saved your ass yet one more time and you come after me with your childish bullshit?
I think Vash is my favorite Superman. I think the similarities between the characters are many. They both come from space, they both have superhuman abilities, they both have a crazy large amount of hope in the human race, they both wear red flowing robes, they both want to save everybody, they both have this persona that hides their true strength. I feel like they are somewhat simpler characters. But I think the one main difference between the two characters is this. To me, Superman in most iteration is a man that does the right thing when it's very hard, but also has the power to do and succeed at those right things. Whatever it is, he has the hope and strength to deal with the situation and beat the big bad. Vash is similar, a man trying to do what he thinks the right thing, but often in the situation lacks the power to succeed at his goals. Just look at Vash's catchphrase, love and peace. Even as a young person, this goal seemed naive and lofty and uncompletable, but even though the task is impossible, Vash still chases it despite everything. I feel this shows that the pedestal of being a good person or doing the right thing is not reserved to the most excellent among us. it's a hard goal that normally takes a bit of self-sacrifice and work, and can still end up in failure and ruin. Its message and a reason to do so can feel so unclear, but despite all that, maybe it's just worth just trying to be a good person, or trying to do the right thing. There's going to be many opportunities presented where where you can make a choice to do something that could help, and maybe you should try. And maybe that small good deed can shift someone's whole reality. Maybe enough of those will lead into a world of love and peace. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe nobody knows. Thank you for watching. If you got this far, you're probably like, man, nobody wants me to not do good things. And I just wanna let people know that that's not my intention. I just think being a good person is hard and a bit subjective, but I strive to try to be a good person, and I hope you do too. What is your thoughts about Trigun if you see the series, and how do you feel about this new Trigun Stampede? Also, if you like the video, please like the video. If you don't. Either way, I appreciate your time and giving me just a listen. I hope to make more content for this channel soon, and hopefully it gets better and better as I learn and grow. But on the off chance that you want to hear more of my voice and thoughts on Superman, and want to hear my friend and I pitch a Superman comic, this video, which is from our other channel, No Name Station. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and take it easy.